If you feel like you've been failing at life, take a walk with me. The first thing that I want you to recognize is that the only time you really fail is when you quit. Far too many people quit and give up on themselves very early in their own process. There never seems to be a shortage of people when you start doing something new that are there to tell you and remind you that you can't do that. Another good thing to remember is that a pivot isn't a failure, it's self-preservation. A pivot is often a next logical step when you've exhausted all possible outcomes that you're capable of creating for yourself. You've hit an upper limit and the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. And some of you may disagree with that last statement, which is why it's important for you to exercise your discernment. And you do that before you make any big decisions. Others will say you've hit this upper limit and you've gone as far as you can possibly go, and that's usually when the breakthrough happens. And that desired outcome that you have for yourself is actually right around the corner. This is a test of your mental fortitude and your belief in what it is that you're currently doing. And this can also be true, but what's most likely happening is you're doing something for the first time. And you've placed ridiculously high expectations on yourself for a particular outcome in a certain time frame. Which is great because you've given yourself a clear target that you're trying to hit. Right now, you might be facing some resistance, frustration, and confusion, which is often a knowledge or skills gap. Things just aren't happening the way that you envisioned it. You're recognizing that you have 10 steps ahead of you, along with this burning desire to make this thing happen. You know that this is for you, and the way that you know that is the fact that you were able to have this thought to begin with. And you were able to take steps towards your goal, and you did it consistently enough over a long period of time that you began to see the results. Unfortunately, those results never seem to come fast enough or when we want them to. And then you allow self-doubt to creep in. Now, we often hear people say that that potential exists inside of you, and you think of it because a future version of you already has it. The steps to get there are often unclear. Right now, you might be at step 3 and you can't seem to get to step 4. It just seems to elude you every time you try to move forward. But these challenges and problems get presented to you because it helps you build the knowledge, skills, and the resilience necessary so that you can move forward. You haven't fully wired into your nervous system yet that you're worthy of having this thing. You don't quite yet have the knowledge, skills, or resilience necessary to be able to keep and maintain this well into the future. It's equanimity, that calmness in the face of adversity. Write that word down on a post-it note and put it in your bathroom so that you see it every day and you remind yourself to be calm in the face of adversity. Do that until it's wired into your nervous system, until it just becomes a part of who you are. Many of you, myself included, you feel like you've gone through the first 3 steps 1,000 times. This is why you have to be cognizant of the words that you use with yourself, because at this point you might be calling yourself a failure. And this is where people are going to test you. They'll start asking you questions like, when are you going to quit that little business and get a real job? But it was all the real jobs that led you to starting a business. It was all those real jobs and the higher education that led you down this path to believing that you have the skill sets and the abilities to do whatever it is that you want to do. Then one day you have that breakthrough and you zoom through steps 3 through 6. And it was doing those first 3 steps over and over again until you were able to make it a habit and part of who you are that allowed you to be able to do that. This is a natural progression where you're being shaped, honed, and forged in the fire, which is what also creates the resilience that's necessary to continue forward. As you begin to master each step in your own process, you begin maturing as well. You begin to feel more capable, competent, and confident in who you are and how you show up. Then your mindset shifts and it becomes not a matter of if, but when you achieve that goal. Especially because now you've never been more clear on your intentions for what you're doing. You no longer have an out, you have to go all in. Give yourself grace and recognize that you've never done this before. You're in the process of growing, developing, and evolving, and that's 100% normal. So ditch all the naysayers and find people who are doing the things that you want to be doing. If and when it comes time to pivot, you'll know when. I'll leave you with this. Stop trying to do everything right. You're missing the point.